guys, and welcome to our channel Nexus Medical Media. My name is Akanksha and we were discussing about ventricular septal defect. So before starting the topic, I want to know how the cone looks like. I hope you all are aware with the figure of a cone. So am I correct? This is how it looks like. But in the last class I somewhat have said that heart in a schematic diagram will look like a fallen cone, right? So if I look at this cone, I can be sure that this is the base, here are the surfaces, and where would be the apex? Here, right? Again in a fallen cone, this is the apex, this is the base, and these two are the surfaces. Now let's go to this image. I know it looks very scary even to me. Look at the name, cornel septal infundibulum, right? Doubly committed juxta arterial. Very scary. So instead of going there, we will just start with the basic alphabetical order that we always do. We have some markings here. Even just looking at this image, I can identify that there are some defects, right? This is A defect, this is B defect, C defect, D defect, right? Not very hard. Now let's understand these defects a little bit thoroughly. Can we name these defects and can understand them? Of course we can. So let's see what is the first defect that you can see. Here I can appreciate that there are something double, and you guys will comment that what is it. I'm not gonna tell you everything, so you have to comment something here that what is this double. Is it an artery or is it a vein? What I can tell you that this is your right ventricular. Okay, this is your right ventricle, and you will tell me what are these two. I can tell you what are the marking. Look at this marking A. So this marking A, obviously the first name that came into my head was double. I'm gonna write double here. You guys can do that too. So double, they must be committed together. So double committed. And I know I didn't want it to say, but yes, arteries. Subarterial ventricular septal defect. So this is the first marking name. I know now it will be very easier for you to remember. I hope I'm making it easier for you to remember the name. What is the name of your doubly committed subarterial ventricular septal defect? What are the other name of this one? Can we also say that it is an outlet defect? I have taught you about outlet defect a bit further. So it can also be considered as an outlet defect, right? What can be the other name of this guy? It can also be considered as what? It can be considered as your supracrystal, right? What else? Somewhat it is near to the conus, so I can also say that this is conal septal, right? What else? Infundibulum, okay, or infundibular. And if you want, you can write all of these names, but what is the most important thing for us to remember? That these defects were seen firstly in Japan, okay, and where they are beneath the pulmonic valve, okay. So these are beneath the pulmonic valve. So that was the first thing, and there are above the supraventricular crust. Okay, so here we have a supraventricular crust, and from there you can remember. So first marking is done. Can I come here and see what is the first marking? Can I appreciate it? And now I do even remember the name, and they can even give you the name. You will remember what is it. So this is the first marking, and I'm completely aware from it. Now let's move to the second marking. We'll have to make a space here for that. So when I go into the second marking, and I have to know what's the name of the second marking. Right now you can see the second marking name is B, but yeah, here is a defect as well, right? Here is a very big defect in fact. So what would be the name of this big defect? Can you remember from our last class that I said somewhat to you that here is a membrane, right? This part is a membrane. So here when the membrane comes into the picture, I can say perfectly that this is your perimembranous. And what would be the another name I was telling you about this portion, right? This portion was called as supraventricular crust. So If something is above it, it will be called as supracrystal, right? Above, if it's something is there, it will be called as supracrystal. And if something is below it, what it would be called? I know everybody is smart, very smart here. So it would be infracrystal, right? Or infracrystal. So this will be the second name of your perimembranous defect. It can also be called as infracrystal or conoventricular defect. So done with the second marking. Do you want to guys go and see again? Let's just finish one more and then we will go and see. So this was our second marking. What is the name of our third marking here? So the name of your third marking, can you please appreciate this image? This is like very beautiful image here. So in this image I can even see that here C, but on C there is something else. There are some muscles, right? So what are these muscles, and isn't like little bit inside? Because I can say that if I will mark it with an arrow, it is inside these muscles. So with the name itself, with a very beautiful name, we have talked about inlet. Okay, so this is your inlet. What other name I can give it? I can say that this is your arterioventricular canal type defect. So this is your C, which is your inlet arterioventricular type defect. Now let's go to the last one, which is your D marking, and after that we will compare with both of the images and we will see that if we have remembered something or not. So now into the last marking or the last defect which is shown onto the picture, what it would be called as? Of course, everybody is very smart here. I was just telling you even before from 5 minutes that here this is a muscle, this is a muscle, and there are so many muscles, and you guys gonna tell me what are these muscles. You're gonna name that in comment section for me. So this is your muscular ventricular septal defect. Now let's go to this picture, this very beautiful picture which looked very scarier to us. Now if we look at this image again, does anything look scary? Because for me I don't think so. Please look at it again. This first image, of course we will remember that the first thing, something had double, right? So it was your doubly committed, or you can say supra, or we can say outlet. If we go little lower, we know here it was your supracrystal, right? Supraventricular crista. And then we had the perimembranous, or we were calling it as conoventricular. Then we have the third image here or here, right? Of course, so many defects are present. Then this was the next one. What is it? It is your near to the apex, of course. So we called it as outlet ventricular septal defect. Then look again. Are you sure? Here is the outlet because it is in the outline. Here it is your muscular inlet. Why? Because it is onto the muscle. And the same thing, all these one would called as your muscular posterior. And can you notice all of them are on the apex? That's why they are called as apical defect. So please do remember this classification because this image is very important, right? When we have to do surgery into the larger ventricular septal defect, this is how we have to remember it. And one more thing, I will give the management accordingly from to the small, moderate and large. But this classification is very important. Thank you for staying with me. Hope you enjoyed the classification. Hope you enjoyed the class. Please come back again.